Okay, how's everybody doing today? My name is Kent. The channel is Bitcoin Believer. It is January 2nd, so it's a new year, 2024, and we are 2:30 in the afternoon. So, obviously, as you see, you're looking at the price of Bitcoin, and I am live. So, if there's anybody who wants to say anything, I got a comment box open. I can see your comments, and I'd be happy to bring them up on screen, and we'll talk about it. So yesterday was a big day while I was watching football games. I was watching the price of Bitcoin as well. So it was I was going back and forth between the bowl game and the Bitcoin price, and I kept seeing it climb, climb, climb. And I kind of thought, I had a feeling the first day of the new year would be a big day for Bitcoin. I noticed it was trading flat towards the end of last year. I thought maybe some people might want to take some losses for tax purposes. Being the end of the year, a lot of people run fiscal years with their taxes. So if they have some tax losses, they might want to take them. So I didn't think it was going to do too much before the beginning of the new year. And I would think it was right because, an accounting perspective, a lot of people want to close out their losses and their gains at the end of the year, December 31st, and then start with the new year, January 1st. So right away, Bitcoin took a $2,000 jump, which was huge. And I've been watching this really closely. And of course, I've watched this for a long time. My background is a stockbroker. I was a stockbroker for a number of years in the 1980s. I've been a stock investor for a long time. Got involved with crypto around 2015, 2016, right in that time. And the way I got involved with cryptocurrency was my son, who was attending Arizona State University, studying accounting, studying computer science, studying all that stuff, started getting into cryptocurrency. And of course, I had we'd always talk about stocks and stuff because that was my interest and he has the same interest. So he started talking to me about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I told him, I've heard these things come and go. And I'd kind of heard a little bit about Bitcoin, but it was always really difficult because it wasn't easily accessible. You had to be able to buy Bitcoin on certain places that weren't real user friendly, exchanges and so on and so forth. You had to have a private key. You had to keep track of that. You probably had a self custody. You couldn't really trust the exchanges at the time. You had Mt. Gox. You had a lot of things go bad. So owning Bitcoin was a little bit of a tricky thing. So I didn't really get involved with it because I just didn't feel very, very like it was very well controlled. And I was right. But as time evolves, things get better. We got involved with EOS because he went from Bitcoin to EOS. So one of the first people on EOS to run an application. And then we started hiring people to build the app. And of course, my son started programming himself and learning it. I helped him out. We both kind of pitched in together and built the challenge application, which taught me a lot about cryptocurrencies, about how they work, about the blockchain, about the coding. And we really got heavily involved because we had nobody else to turn to. The people we did turn to, they'd rip us off. I mean, we pay a developer a little bit of money to do something and find out that they did nothing. So then we'd have to go back and figure out how to do it. So through the process of building the application and watching the market, and of course with the EOS, doing everything we did with I've made over 1,200 videos about EOS. Doing all this and walking through it, it kind of forced us to learn about cryptocurrencies, about the blockchain and how things work. So that's my background. And then I have an accounting background and I went to law school. So I have a little bit of knowledge about everything. I'm not good at any one specific thing, but I think I got an overall general understanding of the way cryptocurrency works, the way accounting works, the way the law works, and the way investments work. So I'm pretty well rounded. The other thing I would say is I don't have a big audience. I think I have about 5,000 subscribers. And most of those subscribers got involved with this channel by EOS. So when I quit talking about EOS or don't talk about it as much as I used to, they're not as much interested. So I'm kind of taking off in a new direction, which is Bitcoin, because that's going to be my main focus. And the reason I'm going towards Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is very unique in the fact that it is, and that's back to the title that I made. I made a title. If you read the title and you're not getting the title, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's supposed to be funny. And the funny part about it is I'm saying Bitcoin has labor shortages and possible accounting irregularities or something like that, which is, I'm making a joke. And I'm making a joke about the fact that like a guy like Warren Buffett says, Bitcoin doesn't do anything. It doesn't, what does Bitcoin do? It doesn't do anything. Well, it doesn't really do anything because it doesn't have to do anything, Warren, because it's decentralized and it's not owned by anybody and it's not controlled by anybody. And it doesn't have all these problems of the companies that you control and own, which is, what you do is you absolutely wreck everything you get your hands on. You get a company and the first thing you do is you fire all the employees, you move all the jobs overseas, and you cook the books. So all the accounting irregularities and all the things you do, to make the billions that you've made, including owning insurance companies and, manipulating that as much as you can, that doesn't exist in Bitcoin. So it's actually kind of funny. I'm talking about accounting irregularities and, about the fact of labor shortages and possible strikes and stuff like that. It does not affect Bitcoin like it affects the companies that Warren Buffett owns. So no, it's not like the companies you own, Warren. It's completely different. It's unique. It doesn't have all the, the issues that you have to deal with when you're going through, all the accounting that you have to decide whether this company's something you can basically gut. You can gut the company, cut everything, sell everything, cut it to bare bones, make it as profitable as you possibly can at the expense of the people that have worked all their lives to build the company. So the people that work to build these companies that Warren Buffett owns today, that put in their life, that believed in the company, that went to work every day. And then when Warren comes in and takes over, guess what? He fires everybody, and then he ships the job someplace else where he can get cheaper labor or cheaper work for what's being done. So no, we don't have that with Bitcoin, Warren, and that's why you hate it, because you don't understand it, and it's not something you can game like you've been gaming companies your whole life. So that's why I made the title, and that's why the title is the way it is. But the thing I would say right now about Bitcoin is going well, and in fact, I made a video not too long. Let me show you this video. I actually called somebody, and somebody said, gosh, you should know these people. I didn't know who they were. They were the where's that video? This one right here. This video. Let me get on it. So I made this video not too long ago about, let me pause it, about Altcoin Daily, because Altcoin Daily was saying Bitcoin could possibly go back to 30K. And I said, no way, it's not going back to 30K. In fact, if anything, it's going up much higher. And some people wrote me and said, hey, these guys are big. They've got over 1 million subscribers. And that's the problem with Bitcoin right now. You've got to watch who you're listening to. They have, people like Altcoin Daily, big channel. They have to create content every single day. And when they create content, they have to make stuff that is clickbait, because they want you to watch, because they have a huge channel they've got to support. And the only way to support this channel is to create content that people want to see and that people find somewhat, it's intriguing. They want to find out what's going on. So they'll say negative stuff about Bitcoin. One day Bitcoin's crashing. The next day Bitcoin's going to the moon. And then the other day they're doing something different. And this day they were saying, better be careful. It might be going back to 30K, which is they're doing that just because they got to create content. So you can't really follow these people and have any kind of sense of what's going on, because all they're doing is they're feeding their own need, which is to create content, not necessarily be honest about Bitcoin and what's happening with Bitcoin. They're just saying whatever it is they think is going to get views. So they're almost to the point where they're locked into their subscribers, to their channel, and to what's going on. So when I'm watching these channels, with these big subscriber numbers, I'm very, very, very cautious about what I'm listening to, what they're saying. There's a lot of people saying a lot of stuff out there that isn't true, just to get the perspective, get the other side of it, or to get eyeballs on their channel, to get more people to listen to them. That's all they're doing. So be careful about people like this, especially if they've got a lot of subscribers. A guy like me, I don't have any subscribers. So I'm not trying to push anything. I'm not trying to tell you something that's not true. I'm just telling you my perspective. And then literally I make no money from this. Absolutely nothing. I don't even get paid by YouTube for the monetization every month. I mean, so there's literally no interest in it for me as far as financial is concerned. There's no interest because I don't have a sponsor and I'm just speaking by myself. I don't push anything. I'm not Kathy Woods who's trying to push an ETF, which she's going to make a lot of money from just by the management fees of that ETF. So is BlackRock and Larry Fink and all these other people. They're going to make a lot of money from the ETF that there is about ready to happen, because they're going to make probably a 1 or 2% management fee for that money. So if Bitcoin goes to goes up or goes to nothing, they're going to make money on the management fee, and that's the way it works. And that's why this is happening, is because they got a guarantee. Bitcoin being very hot right now, and a lot of people looking at it, means a lot of investors are going to pour money into it, and they're going to make a management fee for those investors, and they're going to make out if Bitcoin goes up much higher or goes much lower. As far as the long-term, what's happening to Bitcoin, I don't think anybody knows. I don't think it's possible right now to make that judgment. Obviously when you hear people like BlackRock, you get very suspicious. They're huge. They control trillions of dollars. They're not always looking out for the best interest of their investors. So, and when something like Bitcoin comes along, that's new technology, that's very exciting, you never know, what their true motives are. So you got to be very cautious of people like that. And the other people you got to be cautious of. You got to be cautious of someone like this. I was going to show you this person. Everybody that watches probably knows about Kathy Woods. Okay, and I watched this video today, and it was pretty interesting. It says the world's best con artist, Kathy Woods. And if you can watch this video, I'm not going to play much of the video. I'm just going to play a little bit of this video because I thought this part of it was very interesting. But you got to remember, someone like Kathy Woods, who has ARK investments or ARK ETF. She's trying to get an ETF. She probably will get it done too, along with BlackRock and a few others. Will probably get Bitcoin ETF, spot ETF. So what's going to happen is she's going to make a ton of fees. So she and that's what she does. I mean, she doesn't have a background. She doesn't have a cryptocurrency background. She doesn't have technology background. She doesn't have an accounting background. She doesn't have a legal background. She has zero ability to understand this technology, but she's pushing it. And the reason she's pushing it is because it's what she's going to, she's a promoter. She's somebody that's very good at getting people excited about stuff. And of course she has the look. If you don't know what she's looked, I'm going to play this clip and then I'll show you what Kathy Woods looks like if you don't know. But this is very interesting. This to me, this is a part of the video that jumped out at me because I thought this was pretty telling of what the real world's like. This is the guy that did The Wolf of Wall Street, of which I was a penny broker, so I very much understood that movie. In fact, my daughter watched the movie and I'd never watched it before, and she told me about it. And she goes, "You need to watch this movie, Dad. Kind of sounds like something you used to do." And I watched the movie, and yeah, that's a penny broker. I was a penny broker in Denver, Colorado. He was one in New York City. I was in the 80s. I think he was in the 90s. But I think he had better days than we had, because we had during that time when Reagan had Paul Volcker had raised interest rates. They went real high, and people were more, why put your money on interest at 20%? Why gamble on a penny stock? But when there was high inflation, but people were trying to find out ways to, much like today, they were throwing money at any penny stock out there, because if it went up 100% or 200%, that's the only way they could keep ahead of the inflation rate. Very similar to today, what's going on today. So, I'm going to play just a little bit of this video because I thought this is pretty good stuff right here.
Played Wall Street, the stock market itself, because to me, Jordan, it feels like it's just a casino. The house always wins. Well, is it that or not?
Okay, he's talking about the stock market. This is that Jordan Belfort. He was the actual guy that was the Wolf of Wall Street, I think played by Leonardo DiCaprio. He was the guy that was the real person. So this guy's asking him about the stock market. Of course, this guy runs around on a speaking tour. Can't always trust him either, but he's saying some stuff right now that I totally agree with. Being a broker myself and seeing what I saw.
It's worse than that. It's a
Really?
Corrupt casino. In a regular casino, the odds are...
So he's saying the stock market is worse than a casino. In fact, he calls it a corrupt casino.
Stacked against you, by a small percentage. In some games, they're very close, but
Right.
The house might have a 3% or a 7% edge. But imagine if you go into a casino where the dice are also loaded against you.
Yeah, in a stock market, everything's against you. Everything is against you. People with more money is against you. The fact that they have inside information is against you. The fact that they can, they can sell against you, they can buy against you, they can do whatever they want to do. And this is a concern of Bitcoin right now. Once the ETFs happen, they could very much do a lot of things that they do in the stock market with Bitcoin. And this is the long-term effect of the ETF that we don't know about yet. But In the short term, I think it's going to be very, very good for Bitcoin to have the ETFs. In the long term, we'll have to see. But you're going to have to outsmart these massive investors, and we'll have to outsmart the BlackRocks and the Cathie Woods of the world. And there's a way to do it. And if you keep listening to someone like me, I will give you what I see and give you some idea, because Bitcoin's not going to continue to go up forever. We're going to have a massive run up, and it probably will go over 100K, maybe 200K. But then there's going to be a pullback, as there always is. And at that point, we have to wonder how the ETFs are going to affect us, because they could sell against us, they could buy against us, they could do whatever they want to do, and they're going to control most of the game. They're going to control they're going to control a lot of the inventory. So let me finish what Balfour has to say.
So not only are the odds against you by the nature of the game, but then the dice are loaded against you, or the blackjack dealer is dealing from the bottom. Then you have no shot of winning.
Yeah, you have no shot of winning, basically, in a stock market, in my opinion. That's why so many people capitulate and go to something like Larry Fink's BlackRock, and they just let BlackRock's ETF do the control or do the investing for them. But the problem is, when the market goes down, you're still paying them the same fees. And that's what this video is about. It's about the fact that they're going to make massive fees. They're going to have massive fees on this Bitcoin ETF. That's why I know it will happen, because they have pretty much overextended the dollar and fiat currencies to the point where they need another avenue. They need another way to get the investment community to get behind something like the investment community got behind tech stocks, Tesla, AI, all these stocks that have run up to the massive amounts they have. They've run out of all those things to do. Now they're looking for the next great thing to push, to hype, so they can make their management fees, and then so that they can also, have some control over this technology. And that's what this is about.
And unlike the generous like Elizabeth Holmes or SBF, these Wall Street fraudsters will always get away with it.
And yeah, he's talking about the fact, you got something like Sam Bankman-Fried. He did not play the game very well. He basically just intermingled funds and got caught. People like Cathie Woods, they don't do that. They just take the management fee and they skim off the top, and they make their billions that way. They don't make the billions by actually intermingling things. So they're much more clever than somebody like a Cathie Woods. And I get a kick out of Cathie Woods. Let's just pull up Cathie Woods for a second. She makes tons of videos. And the reason she makes tons of videos is because she's a great promoter. And not only is she a great promoter, let's look at this. Just look at her. Okay, this is her. I mean, she's on everything. And I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. But look at the big glasses. I mean, it's not only, what she's saying, she's almost pulling the Sam Bankman-Fried thing. She's looking real nerdy. And hopefully by she looking so nerdy and talking about technology, you just kind of like, oh, she's so smart. I've got to do whatever Cathie Woods says to do, because Cathie Woods is the smartest person in the world. Look at her. The straight hair, the real nerd look. The big glasses, she's not only saying things, but she's pulling off a certain look, that hopefully she's going to get people to do whatever she, is telling them to do, which isn't always in their best interest. But I just want to show you, I'm just going to go to Bitcoin and I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about this stuff. Okay. You got Michael Saylor. I mean, and he's a big Bitcoiner, but he's so bullish. But the guy owns a lot of Bitcoin. He's invested in this company. But look at it. Okay, Bitcoin ETFs will send price to 1 million. So there's a lot of hype there. 1 million. We're at 44,000 right now. 44, almost 45. We're at 45, 44 yesterday. So that's a big hype. I mean, to sit there and talk about Bitcoin being $1 million. Let me go back to where I was at. Okay, so you got him saying ETF's going to send it to $1 million. Shock, ETF approval, leaked by Forbes. Okay, this is all clickbait stuff. Bitcoin can't be killed ahead of the ETF. So now and here's another guy. And I see this guy all the time, but I never watch. A huge explosion could be coming to Bitcoin next week. So either I don't know if he's saying it's going to crash or if it's going to go higher. Disaster is coming in 2024. We got the doomsdayer here. Now Cathie Wood, why she sold off her entire Bitcoin. Another clickbait thing. We've got Mike Novogratz, BlockRock. So and here's another guy you got to be careful of, Max Kaiser. If you don't know who Max Kaiser is, been around for a long, long time. and he'll put stuff up that's positive, put stuff up that's negative, but he's always got something he's running, he's always got some sort of I wouldn't say scam, but he's always got some sort of deal that he's always trying to, so be careful of these people. Be careful of people like Max Kaiser, Kathy Woods, Mike Novogratz. Mike Novogratz made off with EOS. He's one of the guys that helped wreck EOS and pocketed the money and probably went off to, take it someplace else. So, you got to be careful of this. I mean, we're getting all this kind of stuff. Right now, at this point in the game, I would say that the ETFs are very positive for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's probably going to go much, much, much higher. And we probably got a very good, if you watch this closely, you probably got a very good chance of making some really good money, because we got the halving coming up very soon too. But with Bitcoin, I always look at maybe 6 months at a time. Maybe 6 months would be a good place to start evaluating what your position is and decide if you want to take some money off the table or get out entirely, not write it back down. I would look at it really hard in 6 months, maybe even not 6 months. I mean, we got the halving up in April, so we're January right now. So January, February, March, April, that's 4 months. Maybe give it a month or two after that to see what happens, and then see what happens. BlackRock is coming in big. Of course, ARK with Kathy Woods is coming in big. There's a bunch of other ETFs that are coming in big. Let's just look at the news for Bitcoin right now. So Fidelity says Bitcoin ETF he's getting a 0.39 ahead of it. Okay, so they're already setting their fees. Their fees are going to be massive. I mean, you figure if they bring $1 trillion into Bitcoin ETFs, which wouldn't be unreasonable to bring $1 trillion in, because right now the market cap on Bitcoin is 800, almost 900 billion. So, another 100 billion and you get trillion. They could bring another 100 trillion into Bitcoin real easy. Well, think of the management fees on $1 trillion, even at 1%. How much is that? What is that? That's huge. That's massive. So this is how guys like Novogratz is going to make more billions that he already has, and Kathy Woods is going to make more billions. They're just going to make more and more billions. Coinbase buckles 10%. So let's see what the other news is. Coinbase. Some of these, if you click on them, you're not going to get to read the article because you got to pay to read it. SEC approval of spot Bitcoin as possible. Okay, so yeah, we just have, but the main thing I want to focus on with this video is just to say, look, we don't know what's going to happen. But I would say in the very near term, next few months, I'd be very bullish on Bitcoin. And I think for the reason that these people that control massive amounts of money and massive amounts of investment in capital, they have a vested interest in this right now, mainly from the fact that they're going to get management fees, the fact that they're going to get a new way to open up an entirely untapped market, making it legitimate through an ETF by the Security Exchange, giving their okay for it, and for them now, to be the general public now to get involved with cryptocurrency. That's going to be huge. That's going to be a way for them to really get excited about this. And I do have a couple comments, so let's bring them up and talk about it. Okay, it says, Try says, what do you think about Cardano? I was in the, I got 4 people watching, appreciate it. I got 1 thumbs up. Thank you very much. I was in the steam room the other day in the 24-hour fitness. I spend about an hour in the steam room every day. At my age, it kind of helps invigorate me. And plus it stimulates my thirst, so I just drink more water. So this guy was talking about a Cardano. And of course, I'm very familiar with Cardano because I've watched Charles Hawkinson for years. He's out of Colorado. I used to live in Colorado. That's where I was a stockbroker. And I'm very skeptical of any altcoin. And the reason I'm skeptical of altcoins is because we were heavily involved with EOS. And unlike Bitcoin, which has a very set number of tokens that can ever be issued, 21 million, of which 1 million belong to Satoshi, we'll never see again. And countless numbers of Bitcoin have been lost because in the early days, people didn't custody it very well. So it just got lost to the world. I mean, it got lost to computers. It got lost. So we don't know how many Bitcoin got lost, but we could be at like 17, 18 million Bitcoin that will ever exist. And of course, the remainder of the Bitcoin's got a long time before it all gets mined, which is clear out there, farther than I'm going to live, so I don't pay attention to it. But not all 21 million have been mined, but that's the total number. With Cardano, with EOS, with any of these others that are smart contract platforms that have a smart contract attached to them, they can create tokens by just changing the code. So by changing the code, they can create more tokens. So I'm never that confident in an altcoin, because altcoins can always increase the number of tokens that they have outstanding. Of course, that's everything. If you increase the number of tokens you have outstanding, do you dilute the number of shares or number of tokens you own? So if they create more tokens, that means that's less tokens for you. Now, if there was one altcoin that I would put a lot of interest in, it would probably be Ethereum. And I think Ethereum will build bridges to other altcoins. And Cardano could be one of those altcoins that it builds a bridge to. Could build a bridge to XRP, could build a bridge to a number of Solana. There's a lot of altcoins that have value, and the ones that rise to the top will probably have some functionality through Ethereum. So I do believe Ethereum's a good idea. Now, the ones that attach themselves to Ethereum mainly could be a Cardano, Charles Hoskinson. That could be something to look at. And that's what I would do. I would play Bitcoin until I felt like Bitcoin had. And if you watch Bitcoin and watch its history, it seems to be pretty predictable. It'll make a huge run. And when it starts to get a little bit interesting, where you think, gosh, I've made a lot of money on Bitcoin, I'm getting a little bit worried about where we're at here. A lot of that money flows to other altcoins. And that's when you want to look at Cardano. That's when you want to look at some of these other things. I've never been impressed with Charles Hoskinson himself. I don't really care for the guy. I think he's a little bit of a hype guy. He talks a lot of BS. I'm listening to him for hours where he'll just ramble. And then, of course, he's got the peer review thing where he has professors and other people that are supposed to be looking at, coming up with the future of Cardano and how they're supposed to move forward. The last people I'd be listening to as future people to make ideas for how Cardano would be run would be professors or academia. I wouldn't be looking to academia for ideas on how to progress with Cardano, and I don't like that. I don't like his idea how he does that. But he's got to default to some sort of peer review by our people that are progressing the chain by academics. I wouldn't do that. That is not the way I would go. I don't necessarily trust Charles. That would be my caveat about Charles Hoskinson. Not that he won't be successful, because I've seen a lot that are successful. Hart, what's his name? The guy that has the Pulse chain, he was successful, but now he's running from the feds. So you can be successful, but still not be somebody that's got a good idea. I mean, the king of that would be that Mark Cuban, who come up with broadcast.com. Not a very good idea, but he made a lot of money, billions of dollars on something that just really wasn't. It was a horrible idea. Broadcast.com doesn't even go anywhere. Doesn't even have a URL anymore. Bought by this is in the 1990s or 2000s, early 1990s, I believe. Gets bought out by Yahoo by billions of dollars, makes lots of money, sits on the panel of Shark Tank, looks at other people's ideas and evaluates them. But he had the most horrible idea in the world, bringing radio to the internet. That was his idea. So Hoskinson could come out. I don't know. We'll see. It just how lucky he is, and how much people believe what he says. In my mind, I'm not a little big fan of Charles Hoskinson, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be successful. I myself wouldn't touch it. I've never owned Cardano, but I hear a lot about it. So we'll see what happens. I wish you well if you decide to jump on. It could work. I got another one here. Let's read that one. Okay, it says Shirley Fortress. Teddy bear on Pulse chain, high risk meme coin. Yeah, you got the meme coins. Has a faucet for free purchase. Yeah, there's a lot of things out there. I mean, I don't follow all that stuff. That's why I like to hear what other people have to say. That's why I put your stuff up on the on the screen so other people can read it. Teddy bear on pulse chain. I don't know what all this means, but yeah, I talked to people that made a lot of money. I'd made a little bit of money on Dogecoin. Then I lost it because I had it on the Voyager, and Voyager went out of business. So I think I got little fractions of the money back, just fractions of what I had invested. Because, but I don't mind throwing $100 at this stuff. I'll throw $100 at Cardano. I'll throw $100 at anything just to see what happens. I throw $100 at it, but I'm not going to put very much money in some of this stuff. But yeah, just because I want to see what's going on with it, and also because if I throw a few $100s at it, all of a sudden that sparks an interest in me, and then I start to understand it. And the more I understand, the more it helps me with understanding the entire coin, and it is the future. Regardless of what you think's going on with Bitcoin right now, or Cardano, or any of these others, we are going to a digital currency, a central bank digital currency. There will definitely be one. And the reason why is they have completely exhausted all the, they've overextended the fiat currency world. The fiat currency world has been completely saturated, overextended. It's completely, and I'm not saying the US dollar is going to go bad, because I believe the US dollar is the last currency in the world that's going to go bad. Every other fiat currency is going to die before the US dollar dies. US dollar will be the last one to die. And the reason why is because it's the most convenient currency in the world to use by everybody else. And you see that happening in Argentina right now. So I'm not a doomsayer about the US currency. It will be the last one to die. But it is being overextended, overvalued. It doesn't work as well as it used to do. What you're going to see, in my opinion, is we already all have digital currency wallets, and it happened after 2020. So we're going to see something where the feds are going to start putting money in your digital wallet, and you're going to start using digital currencies. And if you don't want to use digital currencies, that's fine, but it'll be set in your wallet anyway. If you decide, hey, the feds just put $100,000 in my digital wallet, I can use it if I want. I don't have to use it. And there'll be ways for you to spend it. You'll be able to go to, some grocery store, some food chain, somebody like that, and you'll be able to use your central bank digital currency, because it'll be like using the US dollar. And if the feds inject $100,000 into your account, and you say, I'm not going to do this. I don't want the feds following my business. I don't want them to know where I'm doing. I don't want them to know that I buy cigarettes and alcohol. I don't want them to know that, I do certain things online I shouldn't be doing. I'm not going to use that central bank digital currency. That's violating my privacy. Then fine, your $100,000 will just set in your digital wallet. It'll never go anywhere. But one day when you're looking at your digital wallet currency, a digital wallet, $100,000 they just put in there because they want you to start using it, you'll start using it. I got a story to tell about this. Actually, why I was talking about this, it reminded me of a story. When I was a kid, my parents got credit cards in the mail. This probably was in the 60s. And I don't remember when credit cards first started being used, but my parents got these credit cards in the mail. And of course, my parents were farmers, and they were they didn't want, they didn't like borrowing money. They didn't like, people in their business. They were the typical Midwestern conservative, we don't want interference from the government. We want to keep the government out of our business as much as possible. Well, that's the way they thought. At least my dad, anyway. My mom was a little more open, but my dad wasn't. So they got these credit cards in the mail one day, and I'm in the car. I'm a little kid in the back seat. So they kind of tossed the mail to the back of the car, and I'm in the back seat with the mail, and it was already opened. I saw these plastic cards, and of course my mom and dad had opened it up, saw that they were plastic cards, heard that plastic was poison, don't ever use it. So they just kind of threw it in the back, and by they're talking up amongst themselves about how bad how they couldn't believe that bank would be sending them this plastic to use, and they would never use that. That's dangerous, and high interest rates and all the other stuff. I'm in the back as a little kid, and I'm bending the plastic card back and forth, playing with it, twisting it up because it was fun. And my parents looked back, saw me do that, and they got mad. They both, don't do that. Don't destroy that card. Why did you do that? Because it was funny. One part of their mind was saying, it's don't do it because it's high interest rates and it's going to get us into financial trouble. But the other part of it is once I was destroying the card, they didn't want me to destroy the card. So it was like, there's a little part of them that wanted to have that plastic around just in case something bad happened and they needed to use some emergency money. So they have a plastic card. But the other part of them said they don't want nothing to do with it. So that's what's going to happen with this digital currency. They're going to throw that into your digital wallet and they're going to let you know you got money in your digital wallet if you want to spend it. And those that'll use it will use it, and those that won't. But I guarantee you, they're going to introduce it that way, and eventually everybody's going to bite. Everybody's going to bite. Everybody's going to fall into this thing, and they're going to start using digital currencies. And that is how they're going to start to introduce this. Guarantee it. So I have Michael that's going to say something here. Let's see what Michael has to say. Michael says, too many hacks in Bitcoin, inflation bug. BTC has 2 inflation bugs. I've heard this before. I've been hearing this for years. Gosh, who was the person that used to talk? Richard Hart used to talk about this quite often. He would talk about the bugs in Bitcoin. Let me tell you, these people pushing Bitcoin right now, Kathy Woods and Larry Finkins, they have no idea about Bitcoin and how it operates and how it works. If there's inflation bugs, or if there's hacks, the Bitcoin is hackable, or Bitcoin has some flaws in it, it's run fairly well for the since 2008, 2009, so it's run fairly well over the years. I don't disagree with the fact there could be hacks in Bitcoin, but I'm just saying at this point in the game, it looks like it's running pretty smoothly, so I wouldn't be overly concerned about that. So, but yeah, that is a point. So, Google Pulse Chain airdrop. Okay, so airdrops is when Google Pulse Chain. So you'll have to give me some more information. I'll check the Pulse Chain up. I'm very familiar with it. I used to make videos about Richard Hart. Every time I made a video, people used to give me some Pulse Chain tokens. And at one time, I had like $500 in Pulse Chain tokens. And I think I cashed it out. I can't remember if I did or not. But it was funny because I was saying, hey, I don't buy Richard Hart. He's too much of a, I wouldn't say con man, but he was too much of a promoter. He had the Louis Vuitton and the Rolexes and all the stuff in the background. It was being a little bit, just like the Bankman-Fried with the big hair and the flip-flops. He was selling more than he was, he was selling. He wasn't being genuine in my opinion. So, but every time I said something negative about it, people would give me Pulse. They would donate me Pulse Chain tokens. And at one time, I had like $500 for the Pulse Chain tokens, and while I was saying things negative about it, my Pulse Chain tokens were going up in value. So I get it, I understand it. People make money even when things aren't going well, and even when, to me, they don't have a lot of legitimacy. They still can make money. But that's what got the whole altcoin market in trouble, and that's why we went sideways for 2 or 3 years, and that's why the Security and Exchange Commission took a lot of these people to court. So. And that's why a lot of people, you can only game the system so long. You have to play by the rules. If you don't play by the rules, they're eventually going to track you down. So here we go. Michael says, RH is the only founding gift the feds. Okay, RH is the only founder fighting the feds. Oh, Richard Hart. The last time I saw a video of Richard Hart, he was putting a toilet seat in for his mother. That's the last thing I saw about Richard Hart. I'm not going to go down the Richard Hart. I mean, if you go to my channel, one of the videos that I have that I show when people just come to the channel is the one about Richard Hart. People tried to tell Richard Hart that I was saying videos about him and that they wanted me to talk to him, but he would never talk to me. So I'm not a big enough YouTuber for Richard Hart to talk to me. Richard Hart's a smart guy. I won't disagree with that. He's a smart guy, but I also think he's got a little bit of, he's a little nefarious, a little bit of a nefarious human being too. So that's why I'm in Bitcoin. I think I can trust Bitcoin a little more than I can trust Richard Hart, but that's my opinion. Everybody has their own. If you want it fast flyers, if you want things that really happen quickly, Richard Hart's a pretty good way to go. He's a gamer. Okay. He's a baller is what they say now. True. Michael, most don't know that because okay, hold on. Shirley Fortress. So true. Michael, most don't know that a BC Cash developer found the last one. Could be. We'll find out because there's going to be a lot of eyeballs I think you're talking about BTC. True, Michael. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on BTC. We'll find out. I don't know. I mean, I've been burned so many times in the altcoin market. Shirley Fort's that's what I do. I've been burned so many times in the altcoin market. There's an old saying, and it's pretty true in my opinion, that most altcoins are just a way to get people's Bitcoin. That's kind of what I believe. Most altcoins are just a way for people to get Bitcoin. They're people's Bitcoin. But the altcoin market has a place. The altcoin market will evolve. It will get better. It will become something very, very valuable. You know that's true because they're going to make an ETF out of Ethereum. And Ethereum has a lot of people watching it. I owned a lot of it. I owned Ethereum. I've sold the Ethereum since that time and become a maximalist with Bitcoin. But they've got the classic Ethereum, and which is the Ethereum that was the original Ethereum, and then they have the Ethereum of today, the 2.0 Ethereum. But Ethereum is expensive to run. It's got high gas fees. And the last time I was messing around with Ethereum very much, I was spending way too much money to do a trade. So I don't do much on Intel. There's a lot of complexities. I mean, if people think Bitcoin's complex, wait till you get it to an Ethereum. You got two Ethereums. You got classic Ethereum. You got the regular Ethereum. Then you got, you've got gas fees, and you've got a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of things that have to be worked out with Ethereum. But I do eventually think Ethereum will become very, very valuable. That would be the one altcoin that I would stake interest in. The rest of them I'll have to see. But like I say, they will build bridges between each other. And as that starts to happen, that could be huge. Bitcoin could just be a store of value, and the altcoin market will really literally run everything that they're going to tokenize everything. Think about this. Everything is going to become tokenized. Your real estate's going to be tokenized. Your every valuable asset you own will have some connection to a blockchain. That will happen on the altcoin market, altcoin blockchain. It's not going to happen on the Bitcoin blockchain. It'll happen on the altcoins. That's a few years in the future, but that will happen. They will tokenize every single thing. Your everything, your bank account, everything is going to be tokenized. Every stick of wood, every brick, every business, everything is going to be tokenized. And the reason it's going to be tokenized is because it's so functional. It works with our digital world. If you've ever purchased any real estate, you know what a problem it is to buy real estate. You got to go through a broker. You got to get commission to a broker. You got to deal with, what am I thinking of? You got to get title insurance. You got to have a research a deed. You got different kinds of deeds. You've got your quitclaim deeds. You've got your warranty deeds. You've got all these other things. And then you got to hope. I mean, if you've ever gone through the process of even getting a mortgage, that process of getting a mortgage is endless. If this could all be transparent and on the blockchain where you could track ownership, and then as soon as you get a mortgage, guess what? They sell it to somebody else. And then it becomes this endless chain of who owns what and how it's owned and who is actually the real world owner of this stuff, because it just gets so convoluted with the way the chain of property ownership goes in today's world. This is all going to be tokenized. It's all going to be put on the blockchain so everybody can follow it and see it. And there's not going to be any more mystery about this anymore. And this is the way the world's going. If you can't see that, then you're not watching AI very closely, you're not watching the internet very closely, and you're not watching blockchain very closely, because this is the way it's going to be done. And it's all going to be done on the altcoin market. And that's going to be happening very soon. But they got to first get you to start using tokens. And they're going to do it by giving you a wallet full. They're going to give you a nice bump. Could be 100G, it could be 50G, but you're going to get some nice money in your altcoin market. I mean, in your digital wallet from the Fed, straight from the federal government. It's going to be, and that's why I think BTC, Bitcoin's got so much value right now to the overall perception of getting people warmed up to owning cryptocurrency. And then we're going to get introduced to the central bank cryptocurrency, the CBDCD, and we're going to be off to the races. Everybody's going to be on the crypto market, on the So, okay, we got some other stuff. I'm gonna start from the bottom because I can't remember where I left off. So Kevin, Kevin, I'm sorry. Property doing that. Properly doing that. Okay, not sure what that means, but thanks for the comment. I appreciate that. Interoperability. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Another one about Michael. Pulse chain sucks right now with the. Yeah, that's what's going on with him. Like I said, last time I saw him, he was putting a toilet seat in from his mother. Somebody said he was running from the feds. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Michael 40 to send 80. And I think we've done this one already. Shirley Fortress, first ones from Long Island. Oh, wonderful. Long Island. Never been to Long Island. I've never been to New York. I've never really been much on the East Coast. I grew up in the Midwest and I live on the West Coast. So I've never really gone to the East Coast much. But I'd like to. My son has gone to New York a few times. He says he really likes it. He loves New York. My daughter's gone to New York a lot. I don't know if I put this one on yet, but I've never even been to New York. Armstrong Economics says the same. Check out the blog. Sure, put the link in the comments. I'll put it down. I'll check it out. So I hope I got everybody's comment up. So I'm going to just leave you with a few words right now before I leave. I've been on for almost an hour, actually 46 minutes. Hopefully everything works out. I don't know how my software is working at this point. Hopefully I'm still broadcasting. But we don't know what's going to happen. I wouldn't look at Bitcoin for any more than about 5 or 6 months out. My thing with Bitcoin is wait till the halving before you sell your Bitcoin or before you make any moves to the altcoin market or before you do anything. Wait till the halving because I think you got pretty good time. You're going to have some good days until the halving. And I think we're going to be over 100K by that time. Where are we at right now? We're at 40. We're almost at 45,000. Let me refresh my page. Yeah, we're at 45,000. So we're at 45,000. It was 42,000 the other day. So this is going to run for a while. We could see, and we're not even at all-time highs. I mean, all-time highs are 69,000. So we're not even close to all-time highs. We got, 15, 20,000 to go just to get to all-time highs. So if you're buying Bitcoin right now, I think you're in a pretty good place. I would continue to hang on. Okay, Michael, will every human be? Yes. However that happens, I don't know. I don't know how. I'm not sure exactly. I could say some stuff here, but I don't think I want to go down that direction. With AI, with artificial intelligence, you could literally be tokenized by some sort of an implant. You could have some sort of implant that can tokenize you. You could be on the blockchain based on some sort of identification, some sort of way that they put some sort of I don't know if it would be an implant or if it would be something you ingest, somehow they're going to be able to find out who you are. We already are tokenized basically by the fact we have a cell phone that tracks us wherever we go. I don't care. I mean, if I cross the border into Mexico, guess what? The first thing that pops up on my cell phone is, hey, welcome to Mexico. I'm being tracked by my cell phone. It's just one more step to add some sort of incorporate that into your body. People have pacemakers. People have things implanted in them, medical devices implanted in them to monitor their health. I mean, to keep track of their heart rhythm, everything like that. I mean, that's very common. I mean, people do that all the time. Now, what's the next step? Maybe put an implant into you to now where you just walk up to some sort of some sort of machine where you just put your hand up and bang, there's your palm print, and your palm print identifies you and you're tokenized. Now you're on a blockchain. Every movement and everything you do is being able to be recorded on a blockchain. That's where we're going. You can feel comfortable with that, or you can feel uncomfortable with that. If you don't feel comfortable with that, then you're going to have to start living an alternative life. You're not going to be integrated into this digital system. I really can appreciate people that are very not into this new digital world that we're living in. This world where the virtual reality world where they can literally put a headset on and you can be someplace and feel like you're in another world. There people are they're not gonna opt out. Just like I said earlier, they're gonna put money into your digital wallet. Some people will spend it, some people won't. If you don't believe in this stuff, you won't spend it. If you don't believe in this stuff, you won't get some sort of digital implant that puts you on the blockchain. You can live outside of it. Now, hopefully they never force us into it. Hopefully it's your own free will that makes the decision of whether you want to participate in this or not. But I believe this is the direction we're going. And my thing is, it's going to happen if you're against it or not. There's a lot of big people, a lot of people with a lot of money that are really pushing this stuff. And it's inevitable that technologies lead us in that direction. We're going into a world with very few jobs, fewer jobs than we've ever had for people to do. You're going to have to be, if you want to become a part of this digital, you want to make a living, you're going to have to be more involved with the digital economy. You're not going to go out and work with your blood and sweat and hard work and manual labor anymore. Your manual labor is going to be more something that's going to be done online. I've done it both ways. I've been out on the farm working every day with my hands, and I've been on the internet working every day by creating stuff online. I think in the future it's going to be more online than it is going to be out there working every day with your hands. So yeah, we will be that's the direction we're going. And like I say, hopefully it'll be a choice. You can decide whether you want to participate or not. But that is inevitable. That's probably the way we're going. In fact, you're seeing it right now. And we will go to a digital wallet. You get 100K into your digital wallet, and you're looking at those something that you want to buy one day, and you don't quite have enough of the the fiat in your bank account, but you got the digital wallet with 100K in it. You're just going to go ahead and opt to say, hey, I'll just do it one time. I'm going to go ahead and use that digital wallet one time, and then maybe next time you get that digital wallet, hey. The next time you get that deposit, you might have to have some sort of, some sort of implant to get it. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that's the direction we're going. Keeban has another suggestion here. Was it government benefits? Okay, government benefits will be deployed on it. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. People will be forced to use the CBDCs. Yes, I hope I pronounce your name right. It's Keeban. Yes, give me a thumbs up if that's your name. But yeah, I agree with you totally, 100%. And I know a lot of people don't want this to happen. A lot of people are against this central bank digital currency. I know. I talk to them. I see them. They say, no, I don't want to be on a blockchain. No, I don't want to have every transaction tracked. I don't want to know that. I don't want, when I went to the liquor store and, for New Year's and I bought a whole bunch of liquor. One of the things they do in Southern California is every time you buy liquor, at least some of the places I've been to, maybe not every time, maybe I've just gone to the wrong places, but they actually scan your ID. And, it's like they've got a record of me walking into a liquor store and buying booze. And they know how often they buy it, and they know when I buy it because they scan my ID. But for me, it's not usually for me, it's usually for somebody else, because I don't like to drink. But that doesn't matter. I'm still putting it on my identification. So you're being tracked more than you think. Your phone is being tracked way more than you think. And a lot of the reasons why it's being tracked right now is because there's value in being able to know people's habits for marketing to them. Don't think that Amazon, your searches are being stored. Why is Amazon such a valuable company? Not because they have a bunch of vans running around delivering product, but because they have a database full of customer information on what people are buying, what they like, and profiling individuals. And now with artificial intelligence and deep learning, that is even becoming more valuable because they don't even have to program the computers anymore to tell the computers what it is they're looking for. The computer will learn it for itself. So in facial recognition, they don't have to tell the computer, look at how far the eyes are apart, look how far how long the face is and all this other stuff. they just tell the computer, go out and search the internet, all the information there is in the world, and try, or not try, identify human being and identify female, male, identify, older people, younger people, and tell the computer to learn it itself. And it does. The computer is self-training itself. So now the computer can look at your profile, look at all your activities online, and be able to profile you and be able to pretty much identify what you like and don't like, and be able to present you with that stuff as you're on the internet. So really, literally, if you want to avoid the system, you're gonna have to get off the internet. You're just gonna have to get off the internet, get off the cell phone, get off of everything, because now everything is being done by this information that's being gathered on you every day, if you know it or not. So Keevan has another thing. Here we go. It says, we'll have to use the digital currency at the approvals vendor. Tide Pods, Tide Pods, I think you're talking about the detergent, will be the new underground currency. Could be. We could be trading stuff that is just stuff people need for everyday ordinary. I mean, soap, water, food. It's all really currency. Anything we need that we have to spend currency on could be used as a currency. So yeah, we could just be bartering amongst each other, and that's probably a new way of people going is to learn how to barter better, because I think barter is going to be big. I think the future is going to be very niche, where you are going to find a niche that you can exploit. So right now, it's like for me, I've had heart problems in the past, so I'm very careful about what I eat. And I don't go down and just purchase anything. First of all, I read everything that I eat. I scrutinize the label like incredibly. I don't eat anything that's GMO. I don't eat anything that is grain fed as far as meat is concerned. It's all got to be grass fed, because grain fed means GMO. GMO means it's not probably that healthy for you. But if I go down to the nice, and for New Year's, we had a really nice meal. We went out to a really nice restaurant up in Los Angeles. We had a very good steak, but I don't know what kind of oil they made that steak with. I don't know if they used a highly processed GMO vegetable oil to cook that steak that was $150, that was delicious. So I think you're going to be finding people with niche markets who are going to say, no processed oils, nothing that's going to be GMO, nothing that's going to be this, nothing's going to be, because people are getting more intelligent about this stuff and realizing how it's affecting their health. I mean, I was watching this video about cancer. They actually think cancer is metabolic as opposed to genetic. We used to think that we just got cancer because we had bad genetics. My mother passed away of cancer. Does that mean I'm more susceptible to cancer because I have her genes, the same genes as my mother? Or is it because I'm feeding the cancer by what I'm eating? They're starting to think that I'm feeding cancer by what we eat. And once you start to realize that you may be feeding the cancer based on what you eat, you're going to get real careful about what you eat. And if you can get into that niche market of making sure you get that pure food, the purest, greatest, best food, you will find people that want to buy from you, because you're bringing that food to them without the processed oils. Like I say, you can walk into the finest restaurant, get the very best steak, and you have no idea what it was that they cooked it in, or what they used to tenderize the meat, or what they used to add flavor enhance it. And you could be paying hundreds of dollars for food that really isn't that great. And I think there's going to be a niche market for that. And things like that are going to start happening more and more. So let me see. So Keevan says, barter to break the chain of surveillance. Yeah. I mean, there's a grid. And not only will there be, you're getting a grid on, you're not at 59 minutes. I don't want to go over an hour. So I'm going to be here about another 20 seconds, 25. But I'll end it here with this last comment. There's the surveillance grid out there. And it's not only a grid by your communications and your interactions online or on your cell phone. It's going to be by visual, satellite, drone, cameras, they're everywhere. I would tell anybody today, if you're thinking about committing a crime, you better think twice, because if you commit a crime, you better bet wherever your crime is going to be committed, there is a camera, there's a ring. Everybody, like in my neighborhood, you drive from my neighborhood, every single person's got a ring camera. So there's like literally, a snapshot of you as you're driving through my neighborhood by 30 or 40 different homes. They're taking a snap. So if you come into my neighborhood and break a window, and somebody, you're going to get every single house is going to have a video of you driving through the neighborhood if they get the exact time that you broke a window out of a car or tried to steal a car or stole the camera out of a car. You're going to get caught. There's no way about it. You're going to get caught. This is all there is to it. That's the world we live in. So I'm at exactly 1 hour, 32 seconds. I'll try to make these less than an hour because I want to keep them going day by day. And I want to just keep on talking to people. I appreciate everybody that participated today. I have more people participate than I've ever had participate before. I appreciate all the comments. I hope I got everybody's comment answered. I appreciate the thumbs up, and I appreciate it very much. Because like I say, I have no agenda here. I just want to talk. And the more I talk, the more I learn. And the more I learn, the better this information becomes. And like I say, I have no agenda, no sponsors. I don't have a big YouTube channel I'm trying to feed. I'm not trying to get people excited by clickbait or anything like that. I'm just trying to, be an ordinary everyday person to get through what it is we're facing in the future. I mean, I've lived most of my life, but I'm still alive and I still have to finish out this world that I'm living in. And I want to do it as comfortably as I can possibly do it without pain and without misery and without, having to face difficulties. So if we can all combine and work together to make it easier for all of us to get through, that'd be my wish for the new year. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you very much.